2022. We know Caitlin Clark is a signee of Nike. And yeah, let's get it.
Joining us today for a special edition of New News is the 6-foot guard from Iowa. She's the all-time leading scorer in NCAA history, the first overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft. She's a two-time WNBA All-Star, 2024 WNBA Rookie of the Year, the 2024 Time Magazine Athlete of the Year, and she is the first and now last guest of New Heights in the 2025 season.
Let's go!
25 minutes. That's how long it took for the announcement to break the internet. Jason and Travis Kelce just confirmed what WNBA fans have been hoping for since January. Caitlin Clark is returning to New Heights podcast to close out 2025. And they didn't just invite her back. They gave her something no other guest has ever received: a permanent invitation. Let that sink in for a second. The most popular sports podcast in America just told a WNBA player she has an open door whenever she wants. Not LeBron, not Tom Brady, Caitlin Clark.
2025 calendar year with none other than superstar WNBA basketball player Caitlin Clark. Now, we know last time Caitlin Clark appeared on New Heights podcast, it garnered over 1 million views and was seen worldwide. It was one of the hottest interviews to kick off the 2025 year. And I'm here to tell you, to me, it's only right that they cap off the year with Caitlin Clark headed back to New Heights podcast, man. So they released some footage, like I stated, about 20.
Now watch this announcement carefully. Notice how they're framing it. First guest of 2025. Last guest of 2025. They're bookending their entire year with her. That's not just good podcasting. That's a strategic business decision that tells you exactly how valuable the Caitlin Clark brand has become. Her first appearance in January pulled over 1 million views and became one of their most watched episodes of the year. For context, that's higher viewership than most WNBA Finals games. A podcast interview outperformed actual championship basketball. That's the kind of crossover appeal we're talking about.
Oh, 92%ers, please welcome back to the show, Caitlin Clark!
You back!
I'm honored you guys brought me back on. I must have not been too bad the first time, I guess.
Permanent invite.
So you guys just heard there, Caitlin Clark will be a permanent guest on New Heights podcast, man.
But here's what makes this timing particularly interesting. This announcement drops on New Year's Eve, right as Caitlin posted her own year in review on Instagram. She captioned it, 2025, you were a year, 2026, I welcome you with open arms. That ellipsis is doing a lot of work, because 2025 wasn't just any year for Caitlin Clark. It was the year the hype died down. Think about where we were 12 months ago. Caitlin Clark was the biggest story in sports. Record-breaking college career, #1 draft pick, Rookie of the Year, Time Magazine Athlete of the Year. The trajectory looked unstoppable. Then reality hit.
Great photo. This is Caitlin Clark at the wedding. Who all remember the wedding? Drop down in the comments. Y'all remember the wedding over the summer? Caitlin Clark did. This is from the All-Star game. Her and Lexi Hall. I think this is from the All-Star game, but she looked really happy and jacked up there. I don't know who this is. Got to be family or friends or something there. This looked like jersey retirement ceremony there. Kelsey Mitchell, this was the last game here. We all remember that. This was probably on their way to a game. This is pretty dope because we ain't never seen these pictures. I think that's
the behind-the-scenes photos she shared tell a more complete story than any highlight reel could. There's Caitlin with Wemby in what looks like a casual meetup in California. There's the jersey retirement ceremony at Iowa, the emotional goodbye to college. There's her parents, her friends, a wedding she attended over the summer, and buried in there, shots from the All-Star game and the playoff run that ended earlier than anyone expected. What you're seeing is someone trying to find balance between being a global icon and being a 23-year-old who just wants to live her life. That tension defined her entire 2025 season. The expectations were superhuman. The reality was that she was a rookie playing 40 minutes a night with a target on her back every single game.
shared. What's this here?
Good basketball player, but you make it from here.
Jason, show them how you make it rain from downtown.
Can you hit it from here, Caitlin?
Gotta make your free throws.
Hey, this is hard, bro. So right here.
Yeah, baller!
Bet you can't do that, Caitlin.
That was hard, bro. Caitlin.
Now here's where the New Heights appearance becomes more than just a podcast booking. This is Caitlin Clark, controlling her own narrative heading into 2026. She's not doing a traditional sports media interview where she gets asked the same questions about pressure and expectations. She's going on a show hosted by two guys who understand exactly what it's like to be overhyped, underestimated, and constantly scrutinized. Jason and Travis Kelce have spent their entire careers dealing with media narratives. They know how to flip the script, and they're giving Caitlin a platform to do the same thing, on her terms, with hosts who genuinely like her in front of an audience that's already proven they want to hear her.
Season, because 2026 season, because for the simple fact, we almost get to turn the page, man, and be able to get ready for the start of this basketball season. You feel me? A lot has happened in the year, and one thing about getting a new year, you could put the old year kind of behind you and get through it all. Only thing I'm hoping is that the team kind of stays together. You know what I'm saying? A team that we got, even Sophie, you know what I'm saying? I'm not pushing for players to leave. I want Sophie to stay. Y'all know I was a big advocate for Lexi Hall getting paid. I feel like Lexi Hall definitely deserved her money, you know.
Let's talk about what happened to the Caitlin Clark hype in 2025, because this is important context for understanding why this New Heights appearance matters so much. The fever around her peaked in June when she was drawing sold-out crowds and breaking attendance records everywhere the Fever played. By September, the conversation had shifted. The Fever got bounced in the first round of the playoffs. Suddenly, the narrative became, was she overrated? Did the hype exceed the actual impact? That narrative is garbage, by the way. But it took hold because people don't understand how the WNBA works. You can't carry a team to a championship as a rookie in this league. The competition is too good. The season is too long. The physical toll is too real. But casual fans who only tuned in because of Caitlin didn't know that. They expected championships immediately.
God willing, she get what she deserved. She was very instrumental in the Fever making it that far. One thing about me, I'm not going to give all the credit to Kelsey Mitchell, even though she was phenomenal. I just cannot give her all of the credit for how good the season turned out at the end. A lot of the credit got to go to Ari McDonald. Ari McDonald signing was the catalyst that kind of changed the direction of the season. When Caitlin Clark had went down again, we all thought the writing was on the wall. Then Ari McDonald came, and she implemented a contract that was sensational. She might be the most impactful signing of the 2025 season.
Here's what actually happened in 2025 that nobody wants to talk about. Caitlin Clark took a Fever team that won 13 games the year before and turned them into a playoff team. She averaged 19 points and 8 assists, while dealing with the most aggressive defensive attention any rookie has faced in league history. She sold out arenas, she brought millions of new eyeballs to the WNBA. She made her teammates better, especially Kelsey Mitchell, who had a career year playing alongside her. But the most important thing Caitlin Clark did in 2025, she survived. She made it through a brutal rookie season without breaking down physically or mentally. She handled the pressure, the criticism, the cheap shots, the constant travel, the media circus, and now she's heading into 2026 with a full year of experience and a clear understanding of what it takes to succeed at this level.
Here, shake the haters off. I'm out of here, baby. Peace out.
So when the New Heights podcast announces that Caitlin Clark has a permanent invitation, what they're really saying is, we see the long game here. They're not chasing the hype cycle. They're building a relationship with someone who's going to be relevant for the next decade. That's smart business. That's also a massive vote of confidence in Caitlin's staying power. And here's the thing, she's earned it. Not just with her on-court performance, but with how she's handled everything off the court. She's been professional, gracious, and authentic in every interview. She hasn't let the criticism break her. She hasn't gotten arrogant when things were going well. She's just been herself. And apparently, that's exactly what Jason and Travis Kelce want on their show permanently. Now let's talk about what this means for 2026. because this is where things get really interesting. Caitlin Clark is entering her second season with something most superstars don't get: a reset. The hype has cooled down just enough that she can breathe. The expectations are still high, but they're not insane anymore. People understand she's not going to win a championship by herself. That actually gives her more room to just play basketball. And the Fever roster is set up better than it was last year. This is crucial. Kelsey Mitchell is back, and she's proven she can be a legitimate second option. Aaliyah Boston had an up-and-down sophomore year, but she's still one of the best young bigs in the league. The supporting cast has another year of chemistry. If they can keep Lexi Hull, and they need to pay her, she was instrumental in that playoff push. This team has legitimate upside. But here's the wild card that nobody's talking about enough: Ari McDonald. When Caitlin went down with an ankle injury last season, everyone thought the Fever were done. Instead, Ari McDonald came in on a hardship contract and completely changed the team's trajectory. She gave them a spark they desperately needed. She could score. She could facilitate. She could defend. She might have been the most impactful signing of the entire 2025 season. If the Fever bring her back on a real contract, suddenly you've got depth at the guard position that very few teams can match. Caitlin, Kelsey, and Ari as your primary ball handlers, that's a legitimate playoff rotation. That's the kind of backcourt that can make noise in the postseason. And here's what makes this setup so dangerous: they all complement each other. Caitlin is the primary playmaker and the best passer in the league. Kelsey is the pure scorer who can get buckets when the offense stalls. Ari is the defensive pest who can guard the other team's best perimeter player. You can stagger their minutes, so there's always at least one elite guard on the floor. That's how you build a contender. But building a contender requires keeping the team together. And that's where things get complicated. Because Lexi Hull is a free agent, and she deserves a real contract after what she did last season. She was hitting big shots in the playoffs. She was playing tough defense. She was doing all the little things that winning teams need. If the Fever let her walk because they don't want to pay her, that's a massive mistake. This is the reality of the WNBA salary structure. You can't pay everyone what they're worth because the cap is too restrictive, so teams have to make choices. Do you prioritize keeping your core together, or do you chase a big free agent signing? Do you pay your role players, or do you bank on finding cheaper replacements in the draft? The Fever need to prioritize continuity. This team finally has chemistry. They finally understand how to play with Caitlin. They finally have an identity. Blowing that up to save money would be short-sighted. Pay Lexi Hull, bring back Ari McDonald. Run it back with this core and see what they can do with a full training camp together. Because here's what people don't realize about Caitlin Clark's rookie season. She never got a real training camp. She went straight from the national championship game to the WNBA draft, to training camp, to the regular season. She was learning on the fly the entire year. She was figuring out how to play with new teammates, while also dealing with the media circus and the travel and the physicality. Now imagine what she looks like with a full off-season to train, a full training camp to build chemistry, and a full season of experience to draw from. That's a different player. That's someone who's going to come into 2026 with a clear understanding of what works and what doesn't. That's someone who's going to be even better than she was as a rookie. And if the hype has died down a bit, that's actually perfect, because now she can just focus on basketball. She doesn't have to be the savior of the WNBA anymore. She doesn't have to carry the entire league on her shoulders. She can just be Caitlin Clark, really good basketball player, trying to help her team win games. That's the version of Caitlin Clark that's going to be most dangerous. Not the overhyped rookie who everyone's watching for signs of weakness. Not the media sensation who gets asked about everything except basketball. Just the player. Just the competitor. Just someone who wants to win. And that's why the New Heights appearance matters. Because it's a reminder that Caitlin Clark is still one of the most compelling athletes in sports. The Kelsey brothers aren't dumb. They don't give permanent invitations to people who are fading from relevance. They see what everyone else should see, that Caitlin's story is just getting started. So here's the question heading into 2026. Is Caitlin Clark going to build on her rookie year, or is she going to plateau? Is the Fever front office going to invest in keeping this team together, or are they going to make budget cuts that undermine their best player? Is the media going to give her space to develop, Or are they going to create new narratives that distract from the actual basketball? Because make no mistake, Caitlin Clark is going to be great in 20. The only question is whether the organization around her is going to give her the support she needs to turn individual greatness into team success. And whether fans are going to appreciate what they're watching, or whether they're going to keep moving the goalposts every time she achieves something. What do you think happens in year 2? Does Caitlin take the leap, or does she deal with the sophomore slump? Does the Fever make the right moves to keep this core together? Drop your predictions in the comments. And if you want to see what Caitlin says on New Heights, hit subscribe so you don't miss our breakdown when that episode drops. Because something tells me she's going to have a lot to say about where she's been and where she's going. Happy New Year, everyone. Let's see what